What's up, Conscious community? I'm Coach Dan Palacios. Welcome to Conscious Plus. Today we're going to talk a little bit about your travel itinerary and your daily movement profiles, how those change in regards to your travel, your vacationing, your recreation, your eating, and all the different things to take into account when you go on your summer vacations or various types of trips, whether that's for business or pleasure, whether you're traveling by trains, planes, or cars. I want to give you some useful tips to work on while you're out and about and going about your life, trying to enjoy yourself. So some of the main things that I see issues with are, number one, people's posture while they travel. You're carrying suitcases, you're wearing backpacks, you're sitting for long hours traveling to and from one location to the next, whether you're driving, whether you're flying, whether you're sitting on a train or a bus. These are all things to take into account. And many of the issues that we experience because of that seated posture is that we'll tend to round our shoulders forward, drop our head forward, and that tends to round our spine. So again, because we're in these seated postures for long hours, our shoulders will be slumping forward. It's causing a lot of compression against our organs, and we're really typically not breathing the way that we should. So make sure to refer back to some of the different videos that we've done about breathing techniques, about central nervous system manipulation to reawaken the muscles and tissues around your spine so that your body will be more awakened, more engaged, so that you can enjoy your vacation, and so that, more importantly, your body feels good and performs well while you're out and about having your time off. One of the other big areas is just simply setting up your seat so that you're in the best position possible for instance, driving. It's much easier to hold that position when we adjust our seat position to where we can hold our body in the right position while we're driving. One of the easiest fixes that I've found is that you can actually flip your headrest of your seat in the opposite direction so that it rests at a more neutral position. I found that just the design of my car, my truck, is that the headrest actually pushes my head forward. So I flipped it around and shifted it to a position where now my head, neck, and shoulders can stay properly aligned, and I can tilt and shift the seat so that my body is in an optimal position with nice controlled angles, and I can hold my steering wheel at the best possible position while I'm driving. If you're taking a long drive, you want to be sure to take time when you're not driving, say when you're filling up, you're in a safe location, and you have the opportunity to take the time to stretch, loosen up, and move a little bit. Again, because we're in a seated posture for a long period of time, this puts a lot of pressure against the tissues of our hips and our spine. Even our hands can tend to get tense from gripping the steering wheel for so long. So when we aren't driving and when we aren't going to be distracted by those movements, we need to take the time to do some stretching. So let me show you some of that, how to do that against your car. And these are things that you could do against the side of a seat on a bus, or in the bathroom, or against the side of a seat on a plane, or in one of the more open areas when you have the opportunity to get up and move a little bit. So check this out. So these are some of my favorite movements to execute to loosen up my shoulders and chest when I have the opportunity to get out of the car, fill up my tank, or get up out of the plane seat and move a little bit. We can use the side of the car to help stretch the chest and the lats, to stretch the forearms and the hands when we anchor the wrist and open the palm as we stretch away from that hand. And it doesn't take much, doesn't take a whole lot of time. It's not going to add a lot of extra time to your daily trip or the hours spent in the actual travel period, but this is just a really great way to help loosen up those tissues of your shoulders and back and neck while you're driving. You would do this on both sides, typically for about 15 to 20 reps on each section, or maybe about a minute for each different area. For your legs, you want to make sure that you have the opportunity to get your leg into a position where you can stretch the hamstrings, and that could be against the footrest section of your car, right? You can pull against the glutes, alternating, resting back against the car. You can rest your hips and back against the car as you externally rotate the knee and pull up. You can even work on rotating your spine and get your hips, torso, feet, calves, shoulders, quads, and hip flexors loosened up while you're on the go. This is a really great way to make sure that you feel good, again, going from one point to the next point, and that your body's not getting really stiff when you're in those positions. So another major area where people tend to go wrong on their travel is that they really don't prepare for the activities that they're going to engage in on their vacation. A lot of people like to go take very recreationally driven vacations and go do all kinds of fun, crazy activities, but in the hours and months and weeks prior to that activity, they don't take the time to adequately prepare their body for that. If we think of it from our daily movement profile perspective, if your body is used to sitting in a chair all day and working at a desk all day, and you really don't do things like skiing, for instance, or water skiing, or various types of recreational activities that are out there, you would really want to examine that activity and see what you can start doing from a movement perspective on a daily basis in the weeks leading up to your travel to prepare your body. Things like lunging and squatting and even some simple plyometric work or very basic athletic work will start to prime and prepare your body to move in the way it would when you're executing that activity. Now, another major area is the stuff that you're sleeping on, where you're actually staying. All of those different things, your bed and the sort of creature comforts that you have for home are going to change very suddenly. So you would expect that your body is going to respond a little bit differently to those things because it's such a sudden change. So the universal answer to that is executing some kind of a warm-up and stretching routine that's full body and just covers getting loose in all those different major joint structures. So your ankles, your knees, your hips, your low back, your spine in general, shoulders, neck, hands, and elbows. You'd want to cover those areas in a very simple way. You can do that with a 10 to 15 minute warm-up or stretching routine, and that'll really cover all of your bases to make sure you don't get all kinky and tight and sore in those different areas from sleeping in strange beds and taking up all those different activities that you wouldn't normally do in your travel. The last area that I want to cover is nutrition. A lot of people want to go and enjoy all kinds of foods and all the different places that they're going to, and that's great. I, like anyone else, love to have try new things and try new foods. But what I would say is try to, as much as you can, stick to what you know to be something that your body responds well to, and more importantly, try to really control your portions. You can enjoy a lot of different types of different foods and still keep your calories and keep your general intake to a controlled level. I don't know about you, but I really don't like feeling bogged down by eating a ton of food and then just not being able to think straight for the rest of the day, or having to go right to sleep after a large meal. So I would say that bring the mindset of enjoying yourself but controlling yourself at the same time into your nutrition plan. Have a plan of action going into your travel plans for eating so that you can still enjoy yourself but also get a much better understanding of how your body's going to respond to those new foods that are suddenly coming in, especially going to different areas that are further off from where you're used to eating. Another area to cover among our nutrition strategies is our hydration strategy. Particularly when we're traveling long distances, we'll tend to not drink and not hydrate because we don't want to have to go to the bathroom a whole lot, or just in general, we don't happen to have water with us. So I combat that by making sure to have some kind of water bottle with me. This is a stainless steel water bottle that I keep with me whenever I'm traveling. It's easy to fill up. It's about 20 ounces, and ideally we want to be getting plenty of fluids during our travel, because again, a contributing factor to when people don't feel well on their actual travel plans is that they're actually dehydrated a lot of the time. The tissues in your body become more dense and more sort of thick and sticky. Again, you're sleeping in a strange bed at a hotel, or staying with relatives, things like that, that your body it's experiencing a lot of change all at once, and it doesn't help to have dehydrated tissues. So not only do you want to be drinking water, make sure that you're drinking clean water wherever you are. If you have to, get bottled water, but it's also a great idea to keep some kind of additive hydration supplement in the form of electrolytes and potentially even some carbohydrates with you that you can put into your water bottle, mix in there, might even give it some flavor. And it's great to get those extra electrolytes into your system, especially if you're doing a lot of stuff that's very active, especially if you're flying as part of your main travel routine. What most people don't realize about flying is that because we're so high up outside of the normal position in Earth, and we're a little bit further away from gravity in that regard, our body is actually experiencing a slowdown in our blood flow, in our general experience with the electromagnetic pull of the Earth. So the blood does tend to slow down, and it does tend to get a little bit stickier by being so high up all the time. So making sure to stay hydrated and making sure to move more often with more intention while you're actually traveling will help quite a bit. So thank you for joining me here on our travel edition of Conscious Plus. Stay safe out there, travel safe. We'll see you next time.